Welcome to our deep dive into the technical analysis of YAAS, a stock that has recently experienced one of the most dramatic declines in the market. Over the past 3 months, YAAS has plummeted from 4.17 to just 0.0672, losing over 98% of its value. In this video, we'll break down the key technical factors behind this collapse, examine the indicators, and discuss what the future might hold for this embattled stock. Let's begin by setting the stage with an overview of the recent price action and the relentless downtrend that has defined YAAS's performance. YAAS's decline has been nothing short of catastrophic. Starting at 4.17 in late June, the stock collapsed to 0.0672 by late September. This relentless downtrend was marked by periodic breakdowns to new lows, with the most severe crash occurring in September when the price dropped from 0.1025 to 0.0672. Such a dramatic fall is rare, even in volatile markets, and signals deep underlying issues. The overall trend remains extremely bearish, with no signs of a sustainable recovery in sight. This sets the tone for the technical analysis that follows. Closer look at volume patterns during YAAS's decline reveals significant distribution events. On September 19th, a staggering 650 million shares were traded as the price spiked to 0.087, followed by another high-volume day on September 26th with 169 million shares at the new low of 0.0672. These volume spikes consistently occurred at key breakdown points, indicating institutional liquidation and widespread panic selling. The strong correlation between high volume and downward price movements highlights the intense selling pressure that has dominated the stock throughout its collapse. All major moving averages for YAAS confirm the ongoing bearish trend. The short-term 5-day and 10-day simple moving averages are both above the current price, at 0.0859 and 0.0801 respectively. Medium-term averages are even higher, with the 20-day at 0.1254 and the 50-day at 0.2847. This alignment, where price trades well below all key moving averages, is a classic sign of sustained downward momentum. Exponential moving averages echo this sentiment, with both the EMA5 and EMA50 positioned above the current price, reinforcing the bearish outlook. Diving into technical indicators, we see a consistent picture of bearish momentum. The RSI 14 sits at 30.57, indicating oversold conditions but not yet signaling a reversal. The MACD remains negative at -0.0851, with its signal line even lower at -0.1035, though a slightly positive histogram suggests a minor easing of downward pressure. Stochastic oscillators are deep in oversold territory, and the CCI 20 at -44.11 further confirms the negative momentum. Williams %R and ADX readings indicate a weakening trend, while the Arun oscillator shows downtrend dominance. Relative Strength Index, or RSI, is a momentum oscillator that measures the speed and change of price movements. For YAAS, the RSI 14 is at 30.57, which typically signals oversold conditions. However, in this case, the RSI has not triggered a reversal, suggesting that bearish momentum is still in control. An RSI below 30 often attracts buyers looking for a bounce, but with all other indicators pointing down, caution is warranted. The RSI alone is not enough to call a bottom in such a severe downtrend. Moving Average Convergence Divergence, or MACD, is another key indicator. For YAAS, the MACD is at -0.0851, with the signal line at -0.1035. This negative alignment confirms the ongoing bearish momentum. The histogram, however, is slightly positive at 0.0184, which could indicate a minor reduction in downward pressure. Still, the overall picture remains negative, and the MACD does not suggest a meaningful reversal is imminent. It's important to watch for any divergence or crossover, but for now, the trend remains down. Stochastic oscillators are used to identify overbought and oversold conditions. For YAAS, both stock K15 at 17.81 and stock D15 at 11.78 are deep in oversold territory. This means the stock is trading at the lower end of its recent price range, which sometimes precedes a technical bounce. However, in strong downtrends, oversold readings can persist for extended periods. The current readings reinforce the view that bearish momentum is still dominant, and any bounce may be short-lived. Commodity Channel Index, CCI, and Williams %R are additional momentum indicators. YAAS's CCI 20 is at -44.11, confirming the bearish momentum. Williams %R is also deep in oversold territory, suggesting the stock is under heavy selling pressure. While these indicators often precede a reversal in the context of a severe downtrend, they mostly serve to highlight the stock's distressed state. The readings reinforce the need for caution and suggest that the downtrend could persist. Average Directional Index, ADX, and Arun oscillator provide insight into trend strength. YAAS's ADX at 14.77 indicates a weakening trend, while the Arun down at 76 and Arun up at 0 show that the downtrend is still dominant. These readings suggest that while the selling pressure remains strong, the trend's intensity may be starting to fade. However, without a clear reversal signal, the risk of further declines remains high. Linear regression analysis for YAAS shows a negative slope of -0.0217, confirming the persistent downtrend. The regression intercept is at 1.207, highlighting just how far the stock has fallen from its mean level. The R-squared value of 0.2494 indicates a weak correlation between time and price decline, suggesting that other factors may be influencing the price. The current price of 0.0672 is well below the regression predicted value, indicating extreme oversold conditions and a significant deviation from the expected trend. Deviation between YAAS's current price and its regression predictive value is striking. With the price at 0.0672 and the regression value at -0.2051, the deviation stands at 0.2723 or -132.76%. This suggests that the stock is trading far below its expected level, a sign of extreme oversold condition. Such a large deviation often signals distress and can sometimes precede a technical bounce, but in this case, the overall technical picture remains overwhelmingly negative. Based on the current technical setup, the next trading day for YAAS is projected to open between 0.06 and 0.07. The oversold RSI and slightly positive MACD histogram might trigger a minor bounce, but the overwhelming bearish momentum suggests any upward movement will likely be limited. High volatility and recent extreme price swings make precise prediction challenging, but the dominant downtrend favors a lower opening, with risks skewed to the downside. YAAS faces key resistance levels at 0.08, 0.1 and 0.12. With the current price at 0.0672, the stock is approaching the first resistance. In a bearish environment, resistance levels often act as barriers and price rallies tend to be rejected. The proximity to resistance suggests that any upward movement could be short-lived, with sellers likely to step in at these levels. Monitoring price action around resistance is crucial for assessing the potential for a reversal or further decline. Support levels for YAAS are identified at 0.05, 0.03 and 0.01. These levels represent potential areas where buyers may step in, but given the overall downtrend, the stock remains vulnerable to further declines if support fails. The distance from key supports highlights the risk of accelerated selling if the price breaks below these levels. In distressed stocks, support can be fleeting, and sharp drops are possible if panic selling resumes. 14-day average true range ATR for YAAS stands at 0.0468, indicating high volatility relative to the current price. This elevated ATR reflects the stock's unstable condition and the potential for sharp intraday swings. Based on the ATR, the projected high for the next session is 0.114 and the low is 0.0204. However, given recent extreme volatility, actual price movements may exceed these ranges, underscoring the risk and unpredictability of trading this stock. First possible scenario for YAAS is a technical bounce from oversold levels. In this case, the stock could test the 0.08 resistance before resuming its downtrend. Such bounces are common in deeply oversold markets, as short-term traders look to capitalize on temporary price recoveries. However, given the entrenched bearish momentum, any bounce is likely to be short-lived and followed by renewed selling pressure. Second scenario involves continued selling pressure that breaks below the 0.05 support level. If this occurs, the stock could accelerate toward 0.03 or even lower. This scenario is consistent with the current technical picture, which shows no signs of reversal and persistent negative momentum. A breakdown below support could trigger further panic selling and exacerbate the decline. Third scenario is the risk of delisting if YAAS fails to maintain minimum price requirements. Many exchanges have rules that require stocks to trade above certain thresholds. If the price remains depressed, the company could face delisting, which would further erode investor confidence and liquidity. This scenario is a real risk for stocks that experience prolonged and severe declines, as is the case with YAAS. Given the current technical and fundamental deterioration, the most probable scenario for YAAS is further downside. All indicators align in suggesting that the downtrend is likely to continue, with only brief and limited bounces possible. The stock's deeply oversold condition and lack of reversal signals mean that risk remains skewed to the downside. Investors should be prepared for continued volatility and potential new lows. YAAS now presents an extremely high-risk technical profile. The catastrophic decline has left the stock deeply oversold, but without convincing reversal signals. All technical indicators point to further downside potential. Investors should exercise extreme caution, as the stock shows characteristics of a distressed security with ongoing volatility and possible delisting. Entering long positions at this stage would require clear evidence of a trend reversal and stabilization above key resistance levels. Traders and investors should closely monitor key technical levels and indicators for any signs of stabilization or reversal. Watch for price action around resistance and support, changes in volume patterns, and shifts in momentum indicators like RSI and MACD. Only a sustained move above resistance, supported by improving technicals, would signal a potential bottom. Until then, the risk of further declines remains elevated. YAAS story offers important lessons for investors. Catastrophic declines can occur quickly, especially in stocks with weak fundamentals and technicals. Relying solely on oversold indicators can be dangerous in persistent downtrends. It's crucial to combine multiple technical signals and always consider the broader market context. Risk management and caution are essential when dealing with distressed securities. YAAS's decline stands out even among other volatile stocks. While sharp drops are not uncommon, losing over 98% of value in 3 months is exceptional. Comparing YAAS to other distressed stocks highlights the importance of recognizing early warning signs, such as breakdowns below key moving averages and persistent high-volume selling. These patterns often precede larger declines and should prompt caution. Institutional investors play a significant role in driving volume and price action during major declines. In YAAS's case, the volume spikes at breakdown points suggest large-scale liquidation by institutions. When big players exit, it often triggers panic selling among retail investors, accelerating the decline. Understanding the behavior of institutional investors can provide valuable context for interpreting volume patterns and anticipating market moves. YAAS collapse underscores the importance of risk management in trading and investing. Setting stop-loss orders, diversifying portfolios, and avoiding overexposure to high-risk stocks are essential strategies. Even experienced traders can be caught off guard by sudden market shifts. Always have a plan for managing losses and protecting capital, especially in volatile environments. While high volatility increases risk, it can also create opportunities for nimble traders. Sharp price swings may offer short-term trading setups, but the risks are elevated. For most investors, it's safer to wait for signs of stabilization and trend reversal before considering entry. Patience and discipline are key to navigating volatile markets like YAAS. Recap: YAAS's technical analysis paints a bleak picture. The stock is in a persistent downtrend, trading well below all key moving averages. Volume patterns, momentum indicators, and regression analysis all confirm the bearish outlook. While oversold readings suggest a possible bounce, the dominant trend remains negative. Only clear evidence of a reversal and stabilization would change the outlook. YAAS serves as a cautionary tale for investors and traders alike. The combination of catastrophic decline, high volatility, and lack of reversal signals makes the stock exceptionally risky. Until there is clear evidence of a bottom and trend reversal, it's best to avoid exposure. Always prioritize risk management and stay informed about technical developments. The story of YAAS highlights the importance of vigilance in the market. Summary: YAAS's technical profile is deeply bearish, with all indicators pointing to further downside. Stock's extreme volatility and persistent selling pressure make it a high-risk proposition. Investors should remain cautious and wait for clear signs of stabilization before considering any positions. The outlook remains negative until proven otherwise, and the lessons from YAAS are valuable for navigating future market challenges.